forget about any plans to control the trucks that rumble through Orlando on I-4. The idea was to reduce accidents by making the big rigs use a special lane and a lower speed, but it's not going to happen, and John Duncanson explains why.
It was last August 11th, a gasoline tanker spill on I-4 downtown Orlando. The interstate shut down at its busiest hour. The truck overturned, gasoline flowing onto the city street below. The accident and surrounding media attention led some to ask whether something couldn't be done about truck traffic. That in turn led to calls for a special truck lane with a top speed of 45 miles per hour. As it is, heavy trucks have the run of all three lanes on I-4. To shut down trucks to only one and slow that lane down is not music to some ears.
That's really going to hold traffic. You know, have a line full of trucks just in that one lane. How are those cars going to get in between those trucks to get over to the third lane?
Yeah. That's just the reply this group got. Central Florida Regional Planning Council commissioned a DOT study to look into slowing trucks down on I-4. When it came back,
the study found that having trucks prohibited to one lane would not help any situation out there.
In fact, the study found no I-4 truck problems at all. It instead called for a comprehensive accident management plan that would better clear roads and plan alternative routes once main arteries are shut down. That the council took to heart. They in turn agreed to let the trucks on Interstate 4 keep on trucking. In Orange County, John Duncanson, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Incidentally, the study also recommended that state patrol cars be equipped with special push bumpers to push vehicles off the side of the road to get traffic on its way quicker. Mala?
Surely there are a lot of sore necks tonight. Nothing a little heating pad won't cure, though. That little bit of pain was well worth the explosion of color over the skies off Montrose Beach.
CBS 2's Jim Williams shows us how thousands winged it for Mayor Daley's annual Kids and Kites Fest.
Oh, they made it look so easy. Thousands of adults and children at Mayor Daley's 7th annual Kids and Kites Festival. They perfected the art of launching a kite and keeping it in the sky. What is the secret?
Buying an easy-to-use kite.
You may have a point. Selecting the right kite is important.
The easiest kite's going to be a delta shape, and there's a lot of them out here. Parafoils are the second easiest. That's looks like a parachute.
Still, you need a lot of help from something no human can control.
For kite flyers like pitchers at Wrigley Field, it's all about the wind, and this was a good day.
And some places in the Chicago area are windier than others. Montrose Harbor, 4400 north on the lake, is just about perfect.
Here at Montrose, though, it's a natural location for kite flying. People fly here all year long, actually. It's great winds off the lake, so it's a wonderful day.
But not so wonderful for people with dragon kites.
I'm having a really hard time.
Kira Kirker and her husband tried and tried.
This is the kite that doesn't want to fly.
But they could not catch a break.
I've got wind.
Yes.
I've got a kite, and it's not flying.
Eventually, the Kirkers gave up and went home, but we sought professional advice for others here. Dave Sabell of the store Chicago Kite helped this family.
And you're going to just want to coax it a little bit and walk back and pull.
Easier said than done, but off it went, an ancient hobby creating modern family fun in Chicago. Jim Williams, CBS 2 News.
Coax it, walk back, and what was the third thing?
In my view, it would be run.
Well, if you missed today's extravaganza, the next one is planned for October at the Museum of Science and Industry. And I got to tell you, I was driving up Lakeshore Drive today, and I saw all these kites in the air. I didn't know this event was going on, and I thought, just the thing to burn off a little energy for the little whirling dervish in tennis shoes. So maybe next week.
That's not a bad idea. Not
Indeed.
A bad idea.
And, you know, we had a cold front come through this morning, and then we had that west
next tonight. Nothing a little heating pad won't cure, though. That little bit of pain was well worth the explosion of color over the skies off Montrose Beach.
CBS 2's Jim Williams shows us how thousands winged it for Mayor Daley's annual Kids and Kites Fest.
Oh, they made it look so easy. Thousands of adults and children at Mayor Daley's 7th annual Kids and Kites Festival. They perfected the art of launching a kite and keeping it in the sky. What is the secret?
Buying an easy-to-use kite.
You may have a point. Selecting the right kite is important.
The easiest kite's going to be a delta shape, and there's a lot of them out here. Parafoils are the second easiest. That's looks like a parachute.
Still, you need a lot of help from something no human can control.
For kite flyers like pitchers at Wrigley Field, it's all about the wind, and this was a good day.
Spirit today at Children's Memorial Hospital.
I want to thank you and Mrs. Daly for lending our kids a helping hand.
The mayor received a special wreath made by children at the hospital. Some of the young patients also attended a holiday party. The mayor brought holiday greetings for them and the staff.
Wish all of you a wonderful Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, and all the wonderful parents and all the volunteers that make this hospital a special hospital.
Mayor Daley also went to work helping the children decorate the Christmas tree.
Right now, you're
Hospital.
I want to thank you and Mrs. Daly for lending our kids a helping hand.
The mayor received a special wreath made by children at the hospital. Some of the young patients also attended a
spreading cheer among some people who were even too young to vote.
But first, our holiday greeting.
Washington, D.C., and once again today, the mayor is saying that he's opposed to the impeachment process going further, and he's called the investigation of the president a waste of money.
Oh, I said they're wasting so much money. American taxpayers should file lawsuits against federal government, say we want reimbursement. It's just a complete waste of taxpayers' money. People work hard every day and go to work, and they have to spend their money to Washington, D.C. and watch it being thrown away on a daily basis.
The mayor is also saying that he thinks that Aurora area Congressman Dennis Hastert is a perfect fit for the job of Speaker of the House, and he says it will be a proud day for Illinois if indeed. Daley's been keeping a close eye on what's going on in Washington, D.C., and once again today, the mayor is
Will somebody explain this one? In the world I know, a dog rolls over for cookies. Not really bad accordion music.
What?
In my day, when we commanded our dog to speak, we never thought he'd actually do it.
What this is? That's a chihuahua? What is it? A what?
Here's your children. Children.
And if you thought that was weird.
Tonight, a blast from the past. REO Speedwagon in the house. Lead singer Kevin Cronin and bass guitarist Bruce Hall performing some of their old hits at a suburban, as Mikey said, attention Walmart shoppers. They're trying to promote their new CD, Find Your Own Way Home. We're told about 500 people showed up in Elk Grove tonight for the free concert. REO Speedwagon.
Brings back memories
That's
of college.
In your day, huh?
College.
Yeah.
Can't fight this
We're all
feeling
looking
anymore.
like that, have you noticed?
Takes you way back.
Sure
That'll
does.
do it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
And a reminder, the news begins tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. with Bruce Wolf and Fairly. Today, we leave you with more of REO Speedwagon concert.
Yeah, they'll be broadcasting.
Closed cat.
REO Speedwagon celebrates its first new album in a decade with a free concert, but wait until you see where they played tonight.
Legal trouble coming his way. Fans don't have a problem with this guy. 8-time Olympic medalist Michael Phelps headlining a group of American swimmers on a nationwide tour. They did a great job in Athens, and they hope to keep their sport right in front of the American public in Chicago and everywhere else.
This is my first time to Chicago. I'm having a great time throughout the tour, and I'm doing something I love to do. I love to get in the water, I love to swim, and I love to swim with the kids. And it's something good for the sport, and hopefully we can, like I said, we can attract some new faces and bring the sport to a new level.
Well, Canada won the World Cup.
The paint, except the room seemed a little empty. When Spiegel, the catalog company, heard that Peggy needed furniture for her new home, they told us they'd like to drop off a few housewarming gifts. Spiegel filled this house with furniture and accessories, and they did it in 4 hours. And when the folks at KitchenAid heard that Peggy didn't have appliances, they stopped by with everything from the refrigerator to the toaster. Thanks, KitchenAid. And when Gateway Computers...
So now we'll see what Cristiano Damata is made of. With that usual casual shrug of the shoulders, Juan Montoya walks back to the pit area, to the paddock. His day is done.
Well, we are starting off here in a rush because John Andretti is about to take off. John Andretti is a real big driving star, as everybody knows. Indy cars, pull your camera shot back, Chuck. Swing it around here. Look at all the people waiting to get John Andretti's autograph. John, it's been probably about 7 or 8 years since we've had you on the program. You were doing go-kart races at the Rosemont Horizon at the time. You have come a long way, my friend. How are things going for you?
Oh, things are going great. When I came up here, I drove for the Kerry Caparelli's Nations Challenge and had a good time in the midget races, and got to do the go-kart races, and that was a lot of fun, but I love driving the STV Pontiac. We're having a good time with the King's car.
That's right, and I apologize because I always think of you as an IndyCar driver, and I shouldn't do that because you are versatile, and you are now, and have been for, a couple of years in the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit.
Yes, it'll be my 5th or 6th year in NASCAR, and my second.
So what was your guess as to what the heck this odd-looking thing is? If you guessed C, you're absolutely correct. It is indeed an old Victorian window stop from the 1870s. It's made of salt-glazed pottery and sells for around $200. Now, on to our next appraisal.
Hi, what's your name?
Lauren.
Well, hello, Lauren. What did you bring us today?
It's a computerized Ronald McDonald. And my dad knows the rest.
Well, great. Hi, Dad.
How you doing?
How you doing? So what else can you tell me about Ronald?
Well, I found him in the trash and at work. And as far as I know from work, is that he was greeting people at the Oak McDonald Corporation Museum. And he would greet all the people, and he's completely computerized. And as you see, as I lift up his chest plate, when I say computerized, he's all fully functional. His arms, his head goes up and down, his eyelids move, his mouth moves, and that's as far as anything I know about him. I don't know anything else, how much he's worth. It's the first time I've ever done anything to have him appraised.
Okay, well, let me see if I can help you out a little bit. I would put Ronald here somewhere in the time period of 60s, 70s. Somewhere in that time period. He's really cool. We know that. And Ronald is a great advertising piece. You know, there are so many collectors out there for the little Happy Meal toys, the Happy Meal boxes, all of that. So you know that well. But he's great advertising. He's all-American, just like Mom's apple pie. Being such a unique item, you know, an item that was not massively produced, an item that was not made readily popular for people to go out and buy or decorate with. I would have to say, with Ronald in this condition and knowing how advertising items have just taken off in the last 15 years, I mean, it's just, they've always been popular, but within the last 15 years, they have grown so much where, lots of food places, fast food places, bars are, they're looking for these particular types of items to decorate. So they're very popular. I would have to say that Ronald, like this, in this condition, you would be looking at, on the open market, somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000.
Oh, really? Well, that's pretty good.
And I want to thank you very much for bringing them to us today.
Thank you.
It was great to see him. He's great.
Now that's finding them in the trash.
That figure of Ronald McDonald is kind of scary, but the little girl sure seemed to like him.
What do you got?
I have a 1935 Cubs baseball from opening day. It has 4 Hall of Famers and 10 other signatures. My grandfather used to be a taxi driver in the 1960s, and he picked up a fare by Wrigleyville, and instead of giving money, he gave my grandfather the ball.
Serious championship contender.
Welcome to Chicago, Illinois. Tonight we're in the historic Marina City Complex on the Chicago River at the House of Blues. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Devoto. Before they go green at Chicagoland Speedway this Sunday, the 12 drivers who make up this year's NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup field will assemble on one stage for one night. And this is that night. It is an opportunity to talk to the fans and size up the competition. There are 26 races in the regular season, and once again, it went down to the very last race to find out who was in and who was out. Let's take a look back at 2012 so far and how the top dozen was determined.
Called it, man. It's raining now. It's all over. Jeff Gordon is the winner. Catches up a win in Atlanta, buddy.
Tonight there will be 13 people on stage, 12 NASCAR drivers, and Chris Myers. I kid because I care, of course. Can I say that? I've always wanted to say that.
Yeah, you delivered it well. At least I got us the rental car, so I'm contributing, sort of a driver. It's good to see you here. What a great scene at the House of Blues in Chicago. Get ready to launch the chase.
It's fantastic. NASCAR on Fox host Chris Myers will be on stage interviewing the drivers. What are we going to see with this special and unique event?
Well, first time, it's almost like a weigh-in for boxers, except you have 12 guys that are all here without their cars, which is usually what they rely on to get it done, and will once the chase actually starts. So, we're going to ask them questions about strategy, and we'll see how candid they are about handling each other, who they can lean on in certain situations, and how in the big finish, what the mindset is. Mind games have been played in the past, so is it okay to be the favorite, the top seed? Top seed is only won this twice, I think, and it's the 9th chase. Or is it better to be a guy who comes in, as the last entry and kind of hot on a roll like Jeff Gordon?
Okay, well, you're going to do the hard work, the heavy lifting up on stage. We're going to take a look at the 10 races that make up the chase. Starting Sunday in nearby Joliet at the Chicagoland.
Time for a huge event right outside our studios at Michigan Avenue.
That's right. The 2-day NASCAR Fan Fest begins in a few minutes.
Just a few minutes away, NBC5's Leanne Trotter out there with Miss Sprint Cup to let fans know what is going on today and this weekend. Vroom, vroom, Leanne.
Hey, that's right, Stephen and Marion. It's a big race weekend here in Chicago, and as you said, Miss Sprint Cup is here to tell us about all the fun things happening here at the Fan Fest and then in Joliet at the Chicagoland Speedway. So let's start with the Fan Fest.
Yes, so we have Chase Grid Live presented by Toyota and Sprint down here at Pioneer Court. Free for fans. It's going to kick off this afternoon. We're actually having a concert by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals later today. And then our Sprint staff is here. If you want to learn about our Sprint Family Share Pack, get unlimited talk, text, 20 gigs of data to share, up to 10 lines, $100 flat, the best deal in data. And then tomorrow's actually the exciting part, because we've got all 16 of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers out here live. We're going to talk to them, see what they have to say about the chase coming up.
What time is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow's going to start at 4:30, those 16 drivers, but there's stuff all day long, so make sure you're out here. Toyota's out here, again, Sprint's out here, we have food trucks, there's going to be games, prizes, and again, all 16 of the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers out here tomorrow, starting at 4:30.
Okay, so let's talk about the big races this weekend.
Yes, so it's the kickoff to the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Chicagoland Speedway. New format this year with elimination rounds, so these guys really have to get out there, battle hard, and get a win to move on to that next round, so it should be some exciting racing.
Okay, once again, it's at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet. Race fans, start your engines! Back to you two.
Thanks, Leanne, and as Stefan said, vroom, 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 vroom.